get the base set up and put your blender on, you're good to go. Janae, would you hand us the blender?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Get that on there nice and tight. And yeah, give it a whirl.
Oh, yeah! That's not too much work to do your morning smoothie.
This is Peak Moment. We are living at a peak of human innovation, information, wealth, and health. But we're also at a peak of population and consumption, with rising temperatures and declining resources fueled by cheap oil and gas. Peak Moment Television, bringing you examples of positive responses to energy decline and climate change through local community action.
Hi, welcome to Peak Moment. I'm Janae Donaldson, and I'm getting my day's exercise. This is a human-powered, pedal-powered water pump. My guest today is Matthew Corson-Finnerty, who developed or was working on this kind of thing. Thanks for joining me.
It's great to be here.
So Matthew, show us how this works. You know, here I am bicycling, and what is this?
Okay, so basically what's going on is you're on an augmented bicycle that's been reversed, so your rear wheel is in the front.
Oh, okay.
And so you pedal the wheel, and then the wheel makes contact here with the water pump, and that's called a friction drive. Just when they touch together, there are no gears or chains. So this friction drive runs the pump, and then the pump sucks up this water here and pumps it out to wherever you need it to go.
So what pump? Is there a pump? I mean, there's not a pump device. My moving this with the suction that's, you know, the siphon that you created is just moving the water out from, right here we got it in a bucket, but it could be a river, a well, or wherever, and out. Hey, I'm a water pumper.
Yeah, this here is a cast iron clear water pump, and one of the neat things about this kind of pump.
This right in here.
That's a pump. Right
Really,
there.
this little thing.
That little thing. And one of the great things about it is that basically all of this in here is that's where the motor was, and the cylinder in there, if I'm correct, I believe is the fixed magnet.
Okay.
And so that cylinder in there works perfectly to wrap a tread around, twist it tight, and then all you have to do is take the motor off and set it right on top of your wheel, and it's a great friction drive.
So it sounds like it's pretty easy to adapt to being human powered.
Yeah, very easy.
Okay. Shall I stop and we continue, or is there more to show?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Matthew, how did you get into this?
I got into doing all of this down in Guatemala. Oh. I heard of an organization called Maya Pedal, and checked out their website, and they had a section on volunteering, and I got really excited, and just had this strong feeling that I had to go. And so I made a trip, went down for about 3 months, and learned as much as I could, had a great time, and came back to the States, tried to figure out ways to keep going with it.
What is Maya Pedal, since they obviously have room for interns or people to come learn from them, what are they doing? And what kinds of things are they trying to do in their culture?
Maya Pedal is an organization that they take old bicycles, often sent from the States and elsewhere around the world, and they mostly fix and sell bicycles, and that's how the business stays afloat. And then they take what they can, and they turn them into pedal-powered devices. They call them bici máquinas, bike machines, and they're just amazing tools that they make. Most of it's centered around corn and agricultural production, things that people would be doing by hand otherwise.
Like?
Shelling corn, taking all the kernels off, which, I mean, the Guatemalan women are very fast at it, but, you know, hours of it, day after day after day, their hands get really calloused and bleed, and it's, you know, it's really hard on them physically. But Maya Petal makes a machine that can, you know, shell the corn in a matter of minutes.
Wow.
You know, with your legs sitting comfortably in a reclined position, which is great, and that's the kind of work that they do. They create machines for people who don't have access to electricity, don't have access to fossil fuels, and want something that can improve their workflow, their efficiency, and by default their standard of living, giving them more time to be doing other things or spend the same amount of time doing more, being able to earn more money.
So I wanted to find out what led you to even do this in the first place? I mean, what motivated you to want to, I mean, were you already into bikes and that sort of thing, or?
Not really, no. There is a certain irony in this that I didn't have any bicycle experience before I went down there. And I didn't have any real mechanical experience to speak of. I don't have an engineering degree or background. I opted out of physics in high school so I could take environmental science, in part because I knew it would be easier. So what I came into this from was really a desire to try to do something differently. A fair amount of my motivation has come from the knowledge and awareness of peak oil, and learning about that really kind of shook me awake, and going from that initial period of, oh man, you know, big things are going to happen, what can I do about it? I eventually was led to a place where I decided that really, what do I want to do about it? What's exciting that I can do? You know, what do I really take joy in? And it was, you know, like I said, it was just kind of when that website popped up, it felt like, you know, the universe was just kind of putting it in front of me and saying, here, take a look at this. And it wasn't something really that I had considered, but it just, in that moment, it felt right.
Good.
And so I followed it.
And now you're back here in the States. We're at Aprovecho Technology Center, if you will, a sustainable center here in Oregon. And tell us what you, just a couple words about what have you done? You've been here a year almost. What have you done here?
So I'm a researcher in residence here at Aprovecho, and it's a unique position. I'm the first of my kind. And basically the way that works is I do a certain amount of work trade for Aprovecho on other projects, and then once a week I get time to come down here to the shop and experiment and try things out and get to make machines. And so it's a really great situation. It's a real win-win because I have the space to explore and experiment and improvise and just tinker with stuff and, you know, come up with things. And Aprovecho gets a fair amount of work done, and they get bike machines at the end of it all. So yeah, it's a great setup, and I've enjoyed being here a lot.
Great. What else? I mean, show me some of what else you've built here besides the cool water pump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this machine over here is an electricity generator, and it's pretty simple setup. At least mechanically, you get pedaling, and a DC motor from a salvage treadmill sits right on top of the wheel, and it makes.
Oh, that's this thing here. Alrighty.
And that's it's similar to the water pump. That it's just a friction drive. It's just the contact between the two that makes them run, and basically any motor can be turned into an electricity generator. If you spin it, it will generate electricity. If you give it electricity, it will spin.
Turn. Okay.
So you just do it in reverse, and then you can charge up a battery. And
right, so you got a battery down here, so you're just feeding from the motor IC wires down to the battery. So you're feeding it. Okay. About how much juice, I mean, how much are you creating right now? How much electricity do you think?
Right now,
oh, you got a meter. Okay.
yeah, I got
see.
a multimeter there. Right now it's about 13
what?
13 volts. And I'm not positive, but I think my watts are probably somewhere around 40 or 50 right now. It's pretty easy pedaling.
So about 40 or 50 watts. So you could light up like a 50-watt light bulb, kind of, maybe.
Sure.
All right. So here's a light bulb, something, right? Okay. Now I'm supposed to connect some wire to some wire to be able to do this. Where's
So
the other
this
end?
wire,
okay,
just touch it to that alligator clip right there.
So that
There you
shows
go.
we really do have electricity
Yeah.
that you're generating. So you can do a 50-watt bulb, just easy, right now.
It would give some resistance, and the higher the load, the more wattage it requires, the tougher it becomes to pedal. But yeah, you could definitely do that.
So I see that what you're doing here is you've got your battery, so you're storing it. So what's the thinking on this? Since you probably may not want to be pedaling at the same time that you want to be turning on the lights so you can do your work at your desk.
Exactly.
So tell me how all that works.
So the way that it functions is that the motor generates electricity. It sends it through a diode, which is this right here. And the diode basically keeps the electricity only going in one direction so that when you stop pedaling, the battery doesn't all of a sudden power the motor and then make it spin.
Okay.
And then the electricity goes into the battery and it stores it there. And then if you want to, but it stores it in a direct current form, DC. So if you want it to be AC, alternating current, then you have to run it through an inverter. So we have an inverter hooked up, and then you can plug common household appliances and tools and anything that runs off of AC that, well, within reason.
Up to its limits. You could put in, you know, your laptop, a light bulb, your mixer, whatever. Okay, now I've never used one of these here. This is a little test. There's power there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So, do you have a guess on how long? I mean, of course, it depends on how big your batteries are, how much you want to store, how much you use, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But is that a reasonable system? Like if you wanted to say run your laptop and your lights for an evening, how long would you have to bike?
Well, laptop, I don't know.
25 watts, 35 watts.
Yeah, I don't know all the specs on laptops in terms of battery usage. I know they're more efficient than a desktop
take about 35
for
watts
sure.
an hour.
35 watts an hour. Oh, wow, well, that's not very much.
No.
Yeah, I think in order to do lights in a room, laptop, probably be anywhere from a half an hour to an hour of pedaling. And that would probably give you anywhere from, you know, an hour to 3 hours of usage.
I think it's a nice, I mean, it gives people a handle on how much work is really happening when they turn on the switch.
Yeah.
If they were to do it themselves.
Yeah.
You're sweating, kid. Looks like it's time to take a break. Thank you.
Sure.
Show me what else you've got here.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So the next machine is this one right over here, and this is the Aprovecho straw chopper.
Straw chopper.
Straw chopper.
Not everybody needs one of those.
No.
Let's see how it works. Okay, show me.
Sure. The way this machine works is that the pedals are turning this wheel and using this bike wheel as a pulley. And
because there's no, I see there's no wheat tire on here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it works great. Take the tire off. It's got this rubber in here to protect the inner tube from the spoke nipples. And I put a high tension belt on it that comes out of a dryer, and here's the tensioner from a dryer.
A clothes dryer?
Yes, from a clothes dryer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, and that keeps this all nice and tight and in line. And that runs up here to the very end of the blades from a real mower, a push mower.
A grass lawn mower
A
kind of
grass
thing?
lawnmower.
Yeah, okay. A push mower.
Push mower.
Alrighty.
Yeah. And so I cut out a notch in the gear that normally is inside of the wheel so that it could accept this belt. And yeah, and so then all that combined gets that
There's
thing.
some interesting creative welding to get all the pieces to hold together on top of the collector bait, you know, is that right? Is that what that is?
Exactly, yeah. This is just an old, I think, food grade drum.
Okay.
And that's collecting our straw. It's funny, one of the residents here described it as lawnmower blades inside of a fish tank on top of a trash can.
Well, it kind of looks like that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a fish tank here.
It's pretty close to what it is.
Okay, I see underneath there you've got some kind of grate that allows some material to go down. Oh, that's...
What's that on there? Haven't fabricated a working lid yet.
Okay. So you're bringing it up to speed. Then what?
So you bring the blades up to speed just like a chipper shredder. You get them going pretty fast, and then at that point you can put in a handful of straw and it'll shred it up, and through the grate, which you mentioned, it shoots the little bits and pieces of shredded straw into the bottom of the barrel.
Should I try it?
Sure.
How much straw?
Just a handful, about that much. Just toss it in quick.
Woo! Hey, that's exciting! So I gotta ask, what do you use chopped straw for? What does Aprovecho use chopped straw for?
That's an excellent question. So chopped straw is one of the main ingredients in earthen plasters. In earthen plasters, earthen floors, and it's an excellent fibrous material that allows the plaster to not crack, to resist cracking, and the natural building. Excuse me, let me catch my breath. The natural building method standard is to use a weed whacker inside of a trash can.
Okay.
And
okay, so this is trying to replace the fossil-fueled version of doing this.
Exactly. Well,
so you're on your way.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. This is the first prototype, and I'm pretty pleased with it. You know, it works and it chops straw. But one of the dilemmas with this machine and with any human-powered machine is that there is a considerable difference between the power that one person can generate and what can be generated by a fossil fuel engine or through a coal-fired plant, you know, to provide electricity. For instance, the weed whacker that we use in the trash can is, I believe it's a 2-horsepower engine. And so when you really think about that, that's 2 horses, the power of 2 horses that are fully grown, in their prime, very strong, working tirelessly to complete your task whenever you want them to. And that's the power that you have in your hands. And it's easy to lose track of that. And one of the nice things about human-powered machines is that you become very aware of what it takes to run things. Because, you know, at peak, I can probably do about 1/8 of a horsepower. So I'm an 1/8, I'm a 1/16th at peak of what the weed whacker can do.
Wow.
And so the machines are made in relation to that.
Actually, Matthew, that puts us back into scale, you know, into human scale with our environment. Because the weed whacker lets us be way out of scale with what the natural environment can adapt to and use and so on. So I understand you've got a couple more goodies to show us.
I do.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. So this here is a pedal-powered blender. And it works similar to both the electricity generator and the water pump in that it runs from a friction drive, which is just simply this little piece of rubber here cut out of an old monster truck tire, like 7 feet around. The thing was humongous. And yeah, just cut that out with a hole saw and stick it onto the end of this hub here. This is a hub from a front wheel of a bike, and it's got the axle of a rear wheel, so it's extra long. And you grind out that square peg there, and then it fits right into the bottom of the blender. Get the base set up and put your blender on, you're good to go. Janae, would you hand us the blender?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Get that on there nice and tight. And yeah, give it a whirl.
Oh, yeah! That's not too much work to do your morning smoothie.
No, it's a great balance. Good amount of work, good results.
Yeah. You get, and then you get to eat it afterwards. And
Yeah.
Great.
Yep, you earn your smoothie.
So what do we have here, Matthew?
This is a pedal-powered flour mill, and it's using the country living style flour grinder, and it's hooked up in an interesting way. Basically, what it utilizes is a flywheel from an exercise bike, and I'm not positive, but I believe, since this was here when I got here, that it comes with this pulley built onto it, which is perfect. It means that essentially any country living grain mill can be adapted to run with an old exercise bike, which is a pretty simple, easy way to do it yourself. And so what happens here is that the pedals, the crankset turns this hub up here on its highest gear, and then its lowest gear turns the flywheel here. And the reason for that is because if these pedals went straight to here, it wouldn't give nearly enough resistance. And so you'd be pedaling really, really fast, and this would be going pretty slow. Oh,
okay. So I'd like to see how much work it takes, because I've done a hand mill, and that's a heck of a lot of work. And so I'd be real interested to see, how this compares.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a shot.
Oh, so you're sitting on a low chair. Oh, it's a kind of a recumbent. You're just sort of. Oh, that's cool. Look at that.
Yeah. I wanted. I knew this was going to be kind of awkward, and I wanted to have it in a way that the chair would be adjustable, so that for people of different heights, and also, yes, in a more recumbent position, a little more relaxed, read a book or whatever. And
I like that. Read a book while you grind your flour.
While you grind your grain.
Okay.
So Janae, would you mind loading us up with the wheat berries?
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Nice. I'm just looking here. It's a good fine grain. You've got good bran. Actually, this is really going to make good bread. And how are you? You're not wiped out. How long do you think you could do this? That it's sort of at a reasonable rate.
I think realistically I could do it for probably an hour if I needed to, but generally it takes about 10-15 minutes to produce whatever it is that you want to bake.
That's not bad at all.
Right in that moment.
Wow, that's impressive. That is very impressive.
One of the nice things about it is that it is actually faster than the electric mill that we have.
Really?
It's faster, and it does a better job. It grinds the grain more finely, or finer, whichever.
Well, I'm impressed to realize that you could get the flour you need for bread in fairly short order. Bread is, you know, what, 4 cups or something like that. This has been a wonderful tour, and I want to go back to, you know, thank you for all of the innovations and so on, but I want to go back to what helped motivate you to do some of this kind of work. You were telling me earlier about what happened to you after you watched the end of Suburbia. Would you tell our viewers?
Absolutely, absolutely. It was my senior year of college, and I got a copy of the end of Suburbia, and I watched it, and I had heard peak oil before, but I didn't really have a sense of it. Didn't have a sense of its severity and the rapidity at which it would be upon us, and honestly, it really shook me. I was pretty startled by it all, and for a long while, I was pretty stuck in a place of fear. I was debilitated by that fear. I could see what needed to happen, and I could see where we needed to go, but I couldn't actually do anything. And somewhere along the way, and I'm not quite sure exactly at what moment it happened, I reached a place where I recognized that I wasn't operating, I wasn't functioning from fear, and that really what I needed to do was operate out of a place of joy and find the things that I was really interested in and passionate about and excited about and follow that. And what's interesting is that by doing the things that I'm interested in, it's led me to the exact same place that I envisioned when I was stuck in the mode of fear. But instead of feeling anxious and terrible about it the whole way, it's been great. And I really enjoy what I do. I love making machines, and yeah, you know, things are going well, and I'm definitely on that path.
Thank you for that. It's really important to hear how you moved from your fear and turned it around to find your power, which interestingly is about pedal power. That's cool. Thank you. This has been a wonderful tour and really inspiring, and I wish you well, and we're going to look forward to seeing what you produce for us in the future. The world will be better off because of that.
Sounds great.
You're watching Peak Moment, locally reliant living for challenging times. My guest is Matthew Corson-Finnerty. Join us next time.